In a world where everything is changing,
you can always count on us to change for you.
Of course, the main goal is nationals.
We have features,
highlights,
and all things Northwest sports.
That's been the big focus for us.
This
is Bearcat Update.
Let's go! We're getting better today, baby!
Welcome to Bearcat Update. I'm your host, John Walker. Last week started with baseball in Pittsburgh, Kansas for the Pittsburgh Invitational. The Cats went 1-2 in their first 3 games on Monday and Tuesday and did just that last weekend as well. They traveled to Tahlequah, Oklahoma for a 3-game series with Northeastern State and could only muster 1 win. They're 2-4 heading into this week's 3-game series with Emporia State, which starts Saturday here in Maryville. The softball team finally started its season after 6 canceled games. After all of that waiting, the girls came out on fire, returning to Maryville from the Jury Invitational with an unblemished record of 4-0. The women will travel to Pittsburgh, Kansas to play in the Pitt State Classic this weekend. The volleyball team defeated Washburn 3-1 last Wednesday in Bearcat Arena. The team will be on the road this Saturday as the Cats travel to St. Joseph to battle Missouri Southern. Moving into basketball, the women have concluded their season with 3 losses last week against Washburn, Nebraska Kearney on Thursday, and Fort Hays on Saturday. Those losses dropped the team to 9th in the MIAA standings. 8th was the cutoff for this year's postseason tournament, so those losses effectively removed them from the MIAA tournament. Although the women's season is over, the men are moving on. They're the number 1 seed in the MIAA tournament again and will host Emporia State in the quarterfinals at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday in Bearcat Arena. Last week, the men took down Nebraska Kearney and Fort Hays to secure their 20th and 21st wins, giving them the most MIAA wins in a season ever, shattering their own record of 19 from their national title run in 2018. Let's check out some of the highlights from last week.
The Northwest Missouri State women's basketball team hosted the 5th-ranked team in the nation, Fort Hays State Tigers. The Tigers jumped out in front early, building a 14-2 lead. The Bearcats found themselves down big at the half, trailing 42-19. As the game progressed, the Bearcats could not cut down the lead, ultimately losing 70-47, putting an end to their postseason hopes. Fort Hays was led by Olivia Hollenbeck and Jessie Sallard with 14 points each. The Bearcats were led by Molly Hartnett with 10 points and 3 assists. Jillian Fleming chipped in with 7 points as well. The Northwest Missouri State men's team took the floor shortly after. The Bearcats were firing shots from behind the arc, shooting 8 for 14 from deep in the first half. The domination continued in the second half as the Cats knocked down 7 more three-pointers, ending the game with the final score 87-62. Fort Hays was led by Bjarni Janssen, who fouled out with 10 points and 3 rebounds. The Bearcats were led by Ryan Hawkins, who dropped 24 points. Luke Waters had 16 of his own, and St. Joseph native Diego Bernard filled up the stat sheet with 10 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. With the number 1 seed in the MIAA tournament, the Bearcats will host Emporia State on March 3rd.
Thanks, Dylan, for those highlights. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we take a look at more men's basketball. You're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT, Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. We talked a little bit about them before the break, but the men's basketball team has been on an absolute tear this season, per usual. After their 2 dominating wins last week, Northwest coach Ben McCollum said he feels like the Cats are peaking at the right time. Our reporter Chase Chambers met with the team to find out how they were so successful in their last regular season games. Chase.
The Northwest Bearcats looked to end the regular season on a high note against the Fort Hays State Tigers in Bearcat Arena on Saturday. The Cats would score the game's first couple points and wouldn't look back. The Tigers just couldn't get anything to go, which was firing up the Cats even more. The biggest lead for the Cats would be 16 midway through the first quarter. Junior Trevor Hudgens shot 3 for 4 behind the arc. At the end of the half, the score was 45-30 Bearcats. The second half would start with back-to-back three-pointers by Ryan Hawkins, making it 51-32 with 18:59 left. It was all Northwest in the second half, with them outscoring the Tigers 42-32. Midway through the second half, the starters would sub out and the bench would come in, with Derek Lang drilling back-to-back three-pointers and Mitch Mascari also getting on the board with 3 points. At the buzzer, the score was 87-62 Northwest. The Cats will host the MIAA tournament next week in Maryville. Head coach Ben McCollum talks about Isaiah Jackson's role coming off the bench.
Yeah, I think defensively he's probably, he's one of, if not the best with his feet defensively that probably I've ever coached. He rivals a guy named Matt Wallace, who just, their feet are so sticky to the ground. They're borderline impossible to go around.
For Bearcat Update, I'm Chase Chambers.
Thanks, Chase. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take another quick break. You're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT, Channel 8. Welcome back to this episode of Bearcat Update. It is March, and that means it's officially Women's History Month. Our producer, Sydney Garner, spoke with trainer Kelly Quinlan to see the impact of Women's History Month in and out of Northwest. Sydney.
Women's History Month is a time of highlighting the contributions of women to our history. Seeing these trailblazers in all forms inspire other women and their future. Head athletic trainer Kelly Quinlan explains what Women's History Month means to her.
So Women's History Month, to have a whole entire month that commemorates women and their achievements is and the contributions that they've given to society is a big deal. So I think that that's awesome that it's not necessarily just a one-day thing. They're taking a whole month to really recognize women and the importance that they made. So I think it's great.
Women have came a long way in the world of athletics. This month of recognition has an impact at the professional level and here at Northwest.
How does it affect? It's more of just an awareness, I would say, right? So it's an awareness. It's a way to bring a topic of conversation that needs to be had. I think that topic of conversation just is something that maybe people don't do enough, right? So if you know that there is a month, you know that there is a time period where it's something that needs to be recognized. I think just having the conversation, having everyone listen, right? Because listening is one of the biggest parts of being a leader, and just talking things out. I think that that's good. Anytime that females can be recognized for their achievements, I think that that's great. So this month allows that to happen. And, there's so many women here on campus that are just great leaders, right? We've got Stacey Carrick in finance. We've got Allison Hoffman, right, who, she does such a great job and just got recognized, I think, not too long ago. Kristen Peltz, who heads the counseling at the Wellness Center. She's tremendous, and her team is great. Dr. Hoyman, right, our provost. And so there's so many. But even in athletics, we have Lori Hopkins, who's our associate athletic director, right? We have Coach Worth, Amy Worth, who's our volleyball head coach, and she's been here for quite a while, too. So anyway, just some really great leaders, female leaders here on campus and in athletics. So.
Women are constantly breaking barriers in sports. Quinlan expresses the people who inspire her and previous faculty who paved the way.
Yeah, so I honestly, I know this sounds cliche, but my mom is somebody that I've always looked up to, and I mean that in a very, very sincere way. My dad passed away when I was 9 years old, and I have 3 brothers, so she raised the 4 of us on her own, and she did a tremendous job. She was a LPN, a nurse, and she, worked extra jobs as well. And so somebody that really taught me and my brothers how to work and what that means and how important that is to achieve what you want in life. You know what I mean? And so that was probably my first. But I would also say that Sherry Reeves, and I don't know if you know who that is, but she's in our M Club Hall of Fame. She back in the 70s, and she's just always somebody that I've just totally admired because she really, really built female athletics at Northwest Missouri State University. She was an assistant athletic director and a women's basketball coach. And she had a great record, but she was somebody that just pushed for women, even though the finances and the money wasn't there. She pushed and pushed to not only have, female sports, but to provide them just what, everything that the male sports do. And so she was just a huge instrumental person in building women's athletics here at Northwest Missouri State. And so she's someone that I've kind of just always admired because she stood up, for what she believed and people listened, and which is really great.
Although there has been great progress, there is still work to be done.
It's a difficult question in regards to, I think that definitely, when you talk about salaries for women, it's not at the level that the male salaries are, and it should be. Okay, so that's definitely something that I think that needs to be addressed and continue to be talked about and continue to be pushed. Okay, I think that's one realm. I think that, the whole idea of females being in male, positions, or ideally, that people think as quote male positions, needs to just be thrown away. A few months, or I think it was a few weeks ago, I posted, right around the Super Bowl. I posted on my Facebook page, the women that were involved in the Super Bowl, right? We have 2 assistant athletic trainers. We have 2 coaches, we have a scout, we've got referee, like all these women that are like totally getting into this like big, big venue, big, area that they're showing what they got, you know what I mean? And they're doing it very well and successfully. And I think that just seeing those things, I think that continues to, open people's minds, as far as understanding that platform is a big platform. And so if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere, right? And so I just think that was just a really big thing.
Kelly Quinlan describes her personal goals to create history for her own family.
I admire, right? I admire all the women that are doing that and that aren't letting people tell them no and that are continuing to work hard. And it's more of I look up to those people. I admire them. I have 3 daughters of my own, and I hope that they see that and that they realize that they can do, the same kind of things. And so just, I don't know. I just think there's so many strong women out there that, yes, the recognition is fine, but really it's just like, that's not what I'm here for, right? I'm here for those relationships. I'm here to do my job. I'm here to, it was funny because like my mentor, David Colt, who's the head athletic trainer here for 27 years, admire him so much. And he's one of my very best friends and talk to him all the time. He's very involved in like our national organization level. So athletic training, national level, district level, all these levels, and was so involved. And it's, and in my mind, I was like, that's going to be me. Like, I want to one day be the president of our national organization. I want to do all these things. But then I got married and I had 4 kids. And I said, you know what? It's okay to say no. Like, it's okay not to do everything, because guess what? No one can do my job as a mother, right? For my kids, I can only do that. And so, I think there are those pressures that women feel like they have to do it all to be everything and to, need that recognition. No, you don't. You don't, because, when it comes down to it, when I hate to get mortal here, but whenever I die, I don't want to be known as like, this person that got all these awards. I want to be known as that person that loved, those that you're around, that cared about people, that was a good mom, that their kids, could look up to. So I don't know, I'm getting a little emotional here, but I think that that's, the most important thing, right?
Reporting for Bearcat Update, I'm Sydney Garner.
Thanks, Sydney. Now it is time for my pick of the week. This week, it's the Northwest men's basketball team. We've all grown accustomed to having the Bearcats as the #1 team in the nation, losing minimal games a season and hoisting multiple trophies every single year. Northwest lost 1 game during the regular season, and people panicked about it. Most schools would dream of only having 1 loss throughout the regular season. With the MIAA tournament coming up and the Cats eventually heading to Aberdeen, South Dakota for the Central Region tournament, hoping to make a run at their 3rd national title in 5 seasons, men's basketball is my pick of the week. That's going to wrap things up for this week's episode of Bearcat Update. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BearcatUpdate_8, or you can catch all of our previous episodes on YouTube at KNWT8. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
In a world where everything is changing,
You can always count on us to change for you.
Of course, the main goal is nationals.
Follow us on Twitter at BearcatUpdate_8.
It's been the big focus for us.
Tune in on Mondays at 6:30 on KNWT Channel 8.
This
is Bearcat Update.
Let's go! We're getting better today, baby!
Thanks for watching this week's episode, guys. For last week's episode, make sure to click up here, and for all of our previous episodes, click down here. We'll see you next week.